Let's listen to 81 by Joanna Newsom and compare it to The Kiss by Judee Sill and see if Joanna Newsom does indeed sound like Judee Sill the way the PR and press would suggest. I found a little plot of land in the Garden of Eden. It was dirt and dirt is all the same. I tilled it with my 2 hands and I called it my very own. There was no one to dispute my claim. And here's The Kiss by Judee Sill. Love rising from the mist, promise me this and only this. Holy breath touching me like a wind song, sweet communion of a kiss. All right, so both of these compositions and both of these records have orchestration, cellos, violins, symphonic sounds, and I would classify that as the production. So they sound kind of classical so far as they both use violins and those classical sounding instruments. But I think that's where the similarities stop. If you look at the harmony of the Joanna Newsom tune, it is the same chord progression that we've been hearing in Top 40 for 20 years. Artists like Ed Sheeran and Taylor Swift use some combination of 1, 5, 6, and 4 in a loop. The one thing that Joanna Newsom does that's a little bit different is that she puts a cadence in the middle of the phrase on the 5 chord where she says all the same, and then she resolves to a 1 chord at the very end when she says dispute my claim. So that does have a little bit more of a classical sound to it. If we look at the Judee Sill piece, one of the novel things about the harmony is that it acts like an extended cadence. So she actually starts the song with this extended classical cadence. It starts on the 6th chord, and then right away it goes to a cadential 6/4 chord, it goes to a 4 chord, major 7, back to a cadential 6/4, 5/7/1, and we get that classic classical phrase at the end, melodic phrase at the end, sweet communion of a kiss. So I would say that yes, the production sounds classical for both of these, but that's really where the similarities stop. And it's another example of how I think the sound of things, the production, gets a lot of attention, and we make a lot of assumptions about what the piece is based on the superficial elements. But when we really look at the structure, we find that there are big differences between how music was composed in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, and how it's been composed for the last 20 years or so.